What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals 2022 NFL season. So, if you're a Bengals fan, I think it was a disappointing season for you. Just from the fact, you're coming off one of your best seasons. Honestly, your best season since the Boomer Esiason days of getting to the Super Bowl. In between now and then, it's not been a lot to love. You had those few years where you'd make the playoffs and be first round exits, like with the Andy Daltons and, average quarterback play. You know, but yeah, I would say the Bengals season went about how I thought. Um, as much as I loved them, as much as a Joe Burrow fan as I am, um, I couldn't expect a team like this, who'd been dysfunctional for so long, with a cheap owner, to just suddenly flip a switch and be dominant and dominate the league. I did not expect them to win the Super Bowl, nor did I expect them to even get back to the Super Bowl. I actually picked them to be a second round exit in the divisional round. They went above my expectations because Buffalo, like I said in a previous video, Josh Allen regressed, but they ended up losing on the road to Kansas City, who went on to win the Super Bowl. But it's just so unfortunate because, I truly do wonder, are they going to take care of Burrow? Are they going to continue to listen to his input and pay guys that they need to pay? I really loved what they did in the offseason. They did the one thing that the roster needed, which was the obvious. They needed to completely rebuild the offensive line. And they did that. They signed Alex Kappa, who was their left guard, and then they signed Lyle Collins, the right tackle, and then they signed Ted Karras, not sure how to say his last name, but they signed him at center. You have Jonah Williams, the young left tackle, who they drafted from Bama a year before Burrow in the 2019 draft. I don't remember the right guard, but I think he was fine. And so, yeah, and to be honest, they protected Burrow really well. Even when Lyle Collins went out, they protected him well. But then you lose Alex Kappa and Jonah Williams the same week, and it's down to your center, Ted, and the right guard. And it wasn't that good. They could not protect Burrow at all in the AFC Championship against one of the best pass rush duos in the league. And it was just unfortunate because I truly think they would have won that game. I mean, they almost won without all that offensive line, and they beat Kansas City and Arrowhead the previous year without their offensive line being that well. Offensive line, excuse me, it's literally mid-afternoon and I can't stop yawning on camera. But anyways, yeah, their offensive line probably wouldn't have held up as good against Buffalo if Von Miller was playing, but they still were able to get the win. So I think the problem is this team's going to have a lot of off-season changes. T. Higgins is probably going to want an extension, and if he doesn't get one, he could sit out and demand a trade. He could sit out and say, pay me or trade me, but I'm not going to play until I get a new deal, because that's sort of like the new thing with these star wide receivers and running backs. I either got to pay them or trade them. Starting to become a thing with quarterbacks too, but most of the time quarterbacks get paid. But are they going to be able to afford T. Higgins? Because Joe Burrow apparently is going to get the bank, and then they have to pay Jamar Chase next year, and for sure they're going to pay Jamar Chase over T. Higgins. Not a shot at T. Higgins. It's just, Burrow and Chase have much better chemistry, dating back to their college days, and Chase is just the overall better player. You got to keep paying the offensive line. You either got to pay Trey Hendrickson or Sam Hubbard. And that's another problem. Not only could you potentially lose T. Higgins, but I looked at the Bengals free agents, and, you got guys like important pieces in their secondary who are going to be free agents, like Jesse Bates III at safety. So yeah, what does Cincinnati do? I think you just have to pay Burrow. You have to pay Burrow. Um, you'd have to. I think you let Jesse Bates the third go. You don't need two really good safeties. You already have Von Bell, so you let Jesse Bates the third walk. Um, and I think I'd try and figure out a way, and I would discuss that with Burrow. I would say, is it okay if we structure a deal so we can keep T Higgins? Because if we pay you what you deserve to be paid, we're probably not going to be able to keep Jamar and T. So I think if Burrow really is about winning, which I think he is, he would be down to restructure his deal in order to keep Jamar and T. I guess we'll see if he's not all about winning, because if he takes the bank sort of like Aaron Rodgers and they're forced to lose to Higgins, I mean, you're obviously not going to be that competitive as you have been the past couple of years. But, so, what do they do in the offseason? Run it back with this offensive line. It was really good when it was healthy. Pay Burrow, obviously, and try and keep T. Higgins. And let Jesse Bates III and other non-key defensive players walk. I think that's what you do. I think this team's going to be back competing next year for another Super Bowl. The way it looks right now, as the rosters are constructed, I think they could make the AFC Championship again. Heck, I think they could get to the Super Bowl again. We'll see. I don't know. We're obviously going to have to see how free agency and the draft goes for all these top-tier AFC teams like Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Jacksonville, the Chargers. But yeah, I think that's where the Bengals stand right now. Shouldn't be too disappointed in the way the season went. But yeah, like Burrow said, the Super Bowl window's open his entire career if you keep the key pieces around him that you need to compete. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I'm going to be posting these last couple of videos before the weekend. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe, and see ya.